friends, welcome back to my channel. If we haven't met yet, I'm Sid and I make videos about creating a life I love to live. And that means being mindful about my lifestyle and being mindful about my money. If you've spent some time on my channel, you might already know that I am debt-free. My husband and I paid off our debt in the spring of 2022. We were in over $70,000 worth of debt, credit cards, medical bills, student loans, car loans, and it was very important to us to focus our energy on becoming debt-free because we weren't the kind of people who feel like, oh, debt's always gonna be a part of your life. It's always gonna be there. Don't worry about paying it off. No. I knew I had goals to reach and goals that were harder to reach when debt exists, so I wanted to be a debt-free person. So I worked to become one, which is fantastic that, we reached that goal. And after being debt-free for over a year, I've been reflecting on the things that being debt-free has taught me. If you are on the debt-free journey or you're about to start, you probably hear a lot from people about lessons that they've learned along the way. But what about afterward? I feel like we don't talk about that a lot. We don't talk about what being debt-free has done for us or has taught us. So I've been reflecting on that and I want to share those reflections with you today. So let's get into it. One lesson I learned in the early stages of being debt-free is that now you're making up for what you couldn't afford before. And you can do it with peace of mind. And this can mean now being able to better save for or better able to pay for things that are important but not so fun, like if you needed something medical done or some dental treatment, something with your car, something that your home needed, now you can catch up and make those things happen. But it can also mean paying for experiences that you didn't or couldn't save for before. So for me, after becoming debt-free, I got LASIK eye surgery. And yes, it's cosmetic. No, I didn't need it, but it's something that I've wanted done for years. So it was a big deal for me to be able to pay for the procedure and not feel like I need to go into debt to experience it. Another thing after becoming debt-free is we were able to take vacations that we've wanted to take for a long time. Like earlier this year, we went to Scandinavia and it was actually a belated honeymoon for us, but I've been wanting to go out of the country for a really long time. It was my first time going out of the country and it meant a lot to me to be able to, take that trip, and we could do that with peace of mind about our finances. And I value travel, so I feel like now I'm able to catch up on those experiences that I've wanted. And this might sound like no big deal, right? Because people are in debt all the time and they still spend their money how they want to. They still go on vacations all the time. Debt doesn't keep people from living their best life. But for me, in a lot of ways, it did. And when you're on the debt-free journey, you're not living like that anyway. You're not spending however you want. So when you're finally on the other side and you are debt-free, it's like, oh, okay, now I can catch up on some things. The next lesson I learned is that my budget gets to fit my lifestyle. The debt-free journey can feel like there are a lot of shoulds. It can feel very restrictive. And honestly, personal finance stuff in general can feel restrictive. It can feel like there are a lot of shoulds, like there are certain things that are right to do with your money and everything else is wrong and there's not a lot of room for nuance. But remember that personal finance is personal. And now that you're debt-free, you get to revisit your budget and see what should support your needs and your wants. So I felt like I needed to cut down on a lot of variable expenses, a lot of fun stuff when I was becoming debt-free. And obviously the fun stuff that I did do was budgeted in. But I did have a scarcity mindset at that time. And becoming debt-free, I had to grow comfortable with the fact that now I can regularly save and spend money on the things that I value or the things that I find convenient. There is no need to restrict myself forever. I know how I like to live, so the budget reflects that. For example, we know that when the work week is over, we like to pick up takeout at least one night during the weekend. That brings me joy, it brings me ease, it's convenient, so we budget that in. The budget fits my lifestyle. Another thing that I learned is that credit cards are not the enemy and they still serve a great purpose. When I first got a credit card in college, I didn't know about the different cards that existed, the different benefits I could get out of it. I didn't know the best strategy for paying it off. So yeah, when I was younger, I carried a balance a lot. I didn't even like the card that I had and I just went into the whole situation uninformed. But I grew a lot in my financial discipline since then, and I've made credit cards work for me. And while a lot of people feel like you should stay away from credit cards no matter what, especially if you've ever had debt or ever paid off debt, I disagree. I actually encourage the use of credit cards, but only if you're disciplined, only if you know what you're doing and only if you trust yourself. I use my credit cards like a debit card. I use them for every purchase I make. I only spend what I know I can pay off, and I never carry a balance. And I use cards that give me travel perks, which is something that I value, so I'm getting something out of it. Credit cards doesn't necessarily mean financial irresponsibility. You just have to know what you're doing. Next up, I learned you should always have a plan for your money. Becoming debt-free is like a project. You have your sights set on something, you have a deadline for it, you have action items to take to help you reach that. And if you like projects, when it's all over, it can be kind of a downer, like, okay, I did it, that's great. What do I do now with my time? Well, now you go back to your why. Why did you want to become debt-free? Did you want to save for a down payment? Did you want to take a nice trip? Do you want to have more toward retirement? What are you wanting out of your life? Don't just be, bringing in money for the sake of having it. What do you want your money to do for you? And the last thing becoming debt-free has taught me is that I can do anything I set my mind to. Becoming debt-free takes a lot of discipline, organizing, time, and faith, and it is challenging. And reaching that goal is a really big deal. And it was just one way that I showed myself, that I gave myself proof that I can do anything I set my mind to. I can do anything I want because I am that girl. And you are too. If you've paid off your debt, you are that girl. If you're on the debt-free journey right now, you are that girl and you will make it happen. This is hard work, and if you can do this, you can do a whole lot more, I promise you. So that's it, you guys. Those are some things that I learned in the year plus that I've been debt-free. If you've also become debt-free, I'd love to hear anything that you've learned along the way. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.